Yo, 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 it's episode 72 with the Power Pod with your boys, Marky Moo and Big E.T.
That's it, welcome for another round of Shy Talk in Browntown. We got a lot on the docket today. It's a pretty busy one today.
It is a busy one.
It's been a busy week. It's a busy start to the year, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
I've been watching a lot of movies now that I am single, so...
There you go, on the side effects. Yeah, that's the thing, Well, swings and roundabouts. There's a lot to talk about, much to discuss. It's a really kind of what theme would you say this is? One word.
Varied.
Diverse.
I'm looking at it as like we got two different series. We got two Asian films.
I say there's a huge kind of dollop of cheese.
Yeah.
There's like it's a maybe a savory kind of feel.
It's a Browntown episode. It's the in between episodes when like we don't have a recommended film, so
we
got
don't know
nothing.
What we're talking about. Yeah.
We don't have a general theme to latch onto or anything.
Yeah, there's no theme here.
Oh no, this is just
chaos.
This is ultimate January vibes.
Yeah, chaos reigns here. Yeah, it's like the cinema. January vibes.
Yeah,
January. Absolute shit.
Yeah, what films are out at the moment? Fuck all.
Yeah, what is? I don't even know.
That
new, licorice pizza. That's out.
Apparently that's all right.
All right.
I haven't heard like great things about that.
I've heard all right things.
Yeah. Apparently, Hoffman's son continues the legacy of just being a really good actor.
Sure, he is. Had plenty of time to do it. You know. If he was bad, you'd be like, "Come on,
come on.
That's your one thing.
Come on, bro. You'd one job."
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is there? There's that new Kingsman.
Yeah. No one's seen that.
Who gives a shit?
Who gives a rat's? No, people stopped caring about that about 2012.
Like, okay, right. So if anyone actually gives a shit about Kingsman, I'm going to spoil what the end credit scene is.
It smells like chicken.
What is that? Carling? No wonder.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Do you want to? They got Bratsky downstairs if you want that.
No, it's alright.
Okay.
It's too late now. Yeah, the end credit scene in Kingsman.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So do you know what it is?
Yeah,
no, the new one.
The new one, no.
So the new one. Fast forward to the next section if you want to fucking. If you actually somehow give a shit about the Kingsman fucking. Because it's universe. A prequel and it's not really connected to the rest of the films, whatever. But it's a prequel in World War I around that time, and the end credit scene is like the Kingsman. It's like we have a man that can help us out, or whatever the fucking thing is.
We got a guy.
Yeah,
I know a guy.
And because they're like gonna go up against like Stalin or something like that. So they're like, we got a guy.
Come on.
And Adolf Hitler walks in.
Adolf Hitler.
So
he's a Kingsman.
What
the fuck? What's it trying to say?
Oh my god!
Well, like, is that the cliffhanger?
That's the end credit scene. Yeah, it's like the cliffhanger or whatever. Like that's
what's that mean?
That's not gonna be in the next like Kingsman, because the next King. I think this is the only one that's a prequel. But like,
is that supposed to be a joke?
It is meant to be a joke, but the implications of that, because they're meant to be like MI5.
Yeah.
So it's like MI5 were the ones that
set up Adolf Hitler.
To
be honest, that's probably a moment of very rare, like, brutal honesty in Western media, Yes. Adolf Hitler, he was probably, a spy.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. He was definitely on the books. He was definitely on the books, MI5. Considering the time period he came, he sort of rose to prominence in, who he went against, the USSR. Think about it. Maybe they're going in that direction. Exposing the corrupt tentacles of the British deep state.
Yeah.
Doubtful, but that is really weird.
Yeah, that's a really weird post-credit scene.
Yeah. Like, what? That's not even funny.
Yeah, that's
kind of just insensitive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, there's a line.
There is a line, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, Stalin is the villain. We got Hitler.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's kind of like...
So is Hitler a good guy?
Yeah, is Hitler supposed to be are we supposed to be rooting for Hitler here? It's like... Even in history, the history books even say Stalin was better. Like,
yeah, so this is the one time that communism gets a somewhat more positive light.
Yeah, that is just bizarre.
Even like, because like Deadpool 2 had that post-credit scene where like Deadpool is like flying through history, and he actually goes back to like baby Hitler.
Oh right.
And I'm pretty sure it ends with him being like, oh fuck, I can't do this, and he's like leaning over the cot, and he's like, oh, what do I do? And then I'm pretty sure it ends with the with him like leaning over the cot and just going like, max, that thing that he says, like maximum effort or whatever it is. And he says that a few times in the first film. He's like, all right, maximum effort. And he just like leans over and then it just cuts.
So he kills baby Hitler.
Yeah, he kills baby Hitler.
That's bad, isn't it? Would you kill baby Hitler? I definitely would.
I don't think
he's
I could.
Only a baby.
He's only a baby.
He's not Hitler. He's just a baby. Like.
Yeah, because I could just, I don't have to kill baby Hitler. I can just, fast forward to like, to the 30s and just get him then.
Yeah. But like if it was only you could go back to 1901 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like I couldn't do that.
I couldn't do that.
That's a bit bad, eh?
Just kill his man. Kill his man and his dad.
Yeah. He doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, he doesn't stand a chance then. Like,
you don't have the personal responsibility.
If you're an orphan in like, early 1900s Germany, I can imagine that was a good time.
Yeah. Or maybe it just makes him like even more powerful.
Yeah, that I do that, and then he takes over the world.
Yeah, straight away. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, what you been up to this week?
Not much, man. Not much.
We had a nice Saturday.
We had a great Saturday. We had a very cozy Saturday, except for the whole carbon monoxide poisoning thing.
Yeah, but
I think it kind of added to the. There's kind of a few 4 or 5 missing hours there, but
it's all black.
It's all. Yeah, we had a great time.
What time did you leave at?
Like 1:30, 2.
Was it?
Fuck
yeah, maybe there was a few hours missing there.
Just pure delirium, yeah.
The 8 o'clock rule, man. I actually
stupid.
Because like remember during the second lockdown when things opened up but things had to close early still.
Yeah.
Like 12 o'clock was bad, but Jesus, we took it for granted.
Yeah. I remember when 10:30 was bad,
Yeah.
It's like, what's the... there's no point now.
Like, at least at that stage, you could have an after session. You're not having an after session at 9 o'clock, like...
Yeah.
Like, you're not
exactly
doing that.
That's not an after session. That's just a party, isn't it? Yeah. And then it's like, I don't know, it's almost preferable in some ways. But also, it's completely terrible in every other way.
Yeah, it's shit.
Yeah, it's just not ideal.
It's also like, at like once, once you're working, like, 9 to 5, whatever, you're not getting into town or whatever, any place like that until like 6 o'clock. So you have 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
2 hours.
But like less.
And that's...
Realistically less.
Yeah, less.
Because they all keep closing at like... It's like last order's at 6:30. Remember we were joking? Last order. And he comes over and says, last order's there, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like 7 o'clock, bro.
It wasn't even 7 o'clock. It's
yeah.
like, what? And they're still doing food and all. Completely arse backwards. It's 7 o'clock. It's a Friday night. Let people live. Or Saturday night. Let people live. Let people live,
But like, it's even like cinemas and stuff like that. Like, the last showing has to be like at 6:10. Whatever.
Yeah, cinemas now.
And that's if your film is under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which... There's no films coming out anymore that is under 2 hours.
That doesn't happen, yeah. No, it's an absolute scandal. It's not going to change either.
No.
Like anytime soon. Like we just kind of have to accept that this is the way it is. But it would be better if the off licenses weren't like extremely expensive now as well.
Yeah.
But things keep getting worse and worse. You're just gonna have to keep
keep chucking on.
keep trucking
keep flooding on. Keep flooding on.
See, we had a terrible start to the new year there on. I actually forgot to mention this last week. I remember one of the first things I saw on Instagram on New Year's Day is, the Impractical Jokers?
Yeah.
They're breaking up.
Oh, no.
Joe is leaving. He's getting divorced. It's one of this... I was like 2022.
Which one's Joe?
He's the one with the big nose. The Italian guy.
Yeah.
He's leaving Impractical Jokers. That kind of ruined my New Year's Day.
I never gave a shit about Impractical Jokers, so...
It's the best show on TV.
I'm sure it was.
It's so funny.
I'm sure it was.
It was so funny. I used to love it. But it's just so sad. Like, such a wholesome show.
Yeah, I just never got into it. I don't. Maybe it's because I never watched it. And every bit that I did, I just never watched it. Yeah, that's the reason I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that probably would be a reason why I don't care.
It's just wholesome fun. Everyone loves a prank.
An impractical joke.
An impractical joke, yeah. It's like it was so simple. And the thing is, it's not like Jackass was kind of rude and like vulgar. It was like
it's always wholesome.
It was always wholesome. Like if they challenged each other to do something, and it was like kind of beyond the pale, or maybe it was like a bad taste. Like a lot of the time, the Joker would save everyone's embarrassment and just refuse to do it. And he'd take the punishment. Like that's real. That is peak family TV.
Yeah,
that we'll probably never see again.
That is a good point because like. There is bits in Jackass where just like...
You're like, this is a bit bad out.
Yeah,
and this is kind of like just gross. It's just gross out stuff for the sake of it, which kind of is the point.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not as enjoyable as a nice clean joke that actually works. That lands.
Like I never watched the show. I never watched Jackass show. I've seen the films like a bajillion times, but I've never seen the TV show, so I don't know what their jokes were like in that. But at least a lot of the time in Jackass, the joke was on them. It wasn't like, taking the piss out of someone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it kind of led into the whole like that YouTube culture of mad pranks. Remember that was a big thing for ages. I used to like them as well.
A lot of them were fake though.
Yeah, they're all fake. Yeah. But they got really, really weird. Around the time they got really weird, and Practical Jokers came out, and then I was brought over to the light side. I was like, this is just great fun.
Prank YouTube is the best form of YouTube. Yeah. What do you think of the new Jackass movie coming out? I think that's the weirdest timeline that we're in.
I can't wait for it.
I can't wait. But
I think it's gonna be great.
Like,
I think it's one of the only revivals that is like, it can be justified because that's like the format of the series. Like you see so many I heard Dexter was revived today.
Yeah, it was Dexter. Yeah,
I didn't even know that. It's already ended.
And apparently it's like it was. I actually don't even know if it was decent or not. I was gonna say apparently it's decent. I didn't hear one thing about it.
I've heard the ending is kind of controversial, but the ending already was controversial, wasn't it?
Well, Dexter wasn't very good.
Yeah, that's what I was basing it off.
I watched Dexter, and like Dexter isn't a very good TV show.
Isn't it like the first 3 seasons are good?
The 4th season's great, and then the end of the 4th season is like, right, and then the 5th season started, and you're just like, this is shit.
Yeah. But like, there's so many things being revived and kind of dragged back up, and 99% of them, there's no reason. Like, what new show, what like new idea died so that this fucking this zombie corpse of a TV show or a movie could like have a second life, there's just no reason for it. Jackass though, it's like there's no one else in that market,
Yeah, no one else. Yeah, you're not taking up anyone else's time. Like,
yeah. There's no like.
It's only a film as well, like.
Yeah. It's not like a whole new TV show. There's no like young independent producer who had like his dream stamped on so that fucking Steve-O could like shoot himself in the balls or whatever. It's like it's a very specific niche that like they've always filled and they always will.
No one else wants to fill that role.
Yeah.
Nobody else wants to fill Steve-O's boots.
Yeah.
There's some mighty big boots. Oh,
yeah.
I tell you what, it is January and I'm in for cozy vibes at the moment.
Are you?
And I sat down with my dad and watched arguably the coziest franchise ever, Lord of the Rings. Watched
Lotter.
I am now one of the elite human beings that will have completed Lord of the Rings, the extended cuts of the films. Because my dad fucking loves those films. I always grew up like watching them with my dad. It has probably been about 12 years since I've seen them though. So I can't remember. I barely remember Fellowship of the Ring, which is obviously the first one. And we sat down and watched it on Sunday. Fuck me, man. It's actually like high key. It's a perfect film.
Perfect.
I like everything about Lord of the Rings just clicks and works. The special effects have not aged.
But how did they manage to fuck it up in The Hobbit so badly?
Oh Jesus, I have no idea.
It does not make any sense. I suppose it's all practical, isn't it?
Like there's some like there's like VFX. Like
they
they got the Balrog thing, whatever the fuck it's called, the big fire demon.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't look bad. Somehow I don't know how it just doesn't look bad. And you have like my favorite thing about Lord of the Rings is that like you have all these like all the orcs. And they have extremely like complicated makeup on, and they'll only be in it for one shot, like one face shot of like this fucked up orc, and then you'll never see them again. And it's like that was hours and hours of makeup just for that 1 second shot of them. And it's like that's just impressive.
That's dedication. Pete Jackson.
Like from like now. Knowing like how they shot these films with the forced perspective and stuff like that, mind blowing. Like I actually still do not understand like how it works. Like because it just looks like they're like these little hobbits walking around with these with Gandalf
actually,
and stuff.
How
like
does
that
work?
I've seen clips of it. There's one bit where Gandalf is like sitting on the table talking to Bilbo, and the way that they shot that was the camera, how do I explain it? The table that Gandalf is on, he's up close He's up really close to the camera, and then Bilbo is really far away from the camera. But the table is on this like weird platform that, as the camera moves, the entire set kind of moves. So, like like when he puts something down to Gandalf, there's like a cut, or maybe there must be a cut or something, and they just moved the pot closer to Gandalf so then he can just pick it up. But it's completely seamless, like just stuff like that. All of it works. Like Frodo is sitting beside Gandalf and they're on the carriage, like going into the Shire and stuff like that. And it's like he's just a little fucking hobbit sitting beside sitting beside Gandalf. Jeez, all that type of stuff is just mind blowing. Forced perspective is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I have no idea how that works.
Yeah,
it's like vanishing points and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like tech graph.
Yeah, it's just like geniuses just figured this out.
Yeah,
because like I remember watching Brain Dead, which is a Peter Jackson film, and there's like a forced perspective thing in that where there's a massive, giant zombie attacking these people who are like running up these stairs, and there's the zombies like chasing after them, but like it's obviously like this big. It's someone wearing a big costume, and they're really close to the camera, and the people are like running along the banisters, and the monster's like trying to grab them and stuff like that. But that's obviously a forced perspective thing there, and so like he's done it before in the past, but like Jesus, just in Lord of the Rings, it is completely seamless.
Yeah.
It is like beyond impressive
because the budget wasn't unprecedented. It was like 80 mil or something like that.
It was a big budget, but I don't know how.
It wasn't at Titanic levels though.
No, it wasn't. Yeah,
I think a lot of the practical effects was something to do with there was limitations in terms of I don't know, special effects they could do. So there you go. A little constraints creating creativity or
always do
conducive to it anyway.
Constraints create creativity.
Exactly.
That's why Marvel doesn't look half as good as Lord of the Rings.
It's got a fucking blank checks and all that stuff.
Like
useless.
The music is so fucking. I love.
Who does the music?
Score. I can't remember. I have no idea.
Some guy.
Some dude. Some fucking G. The music is so iconic, and I just watched it. I was just like, oh, it just brings you back to my childhood watching these with my dad. Just so, and like the extended cuts have like it's like half an hour or 45 minutes extra worth of footage for Fellowship of the Ring, and all of it just like fits in. Like it doesn't feel out of place. There's no bit where it's like that doesn't fit in to the overall narrative. And like there's loads of like little bits where like they're running across these like insane landscapes. Jeez, New Zealand is way more varied than I thought it was. Like because they're like running across these marshes that have like big like big rocks that are like covered in grass and stuff like that. It's obviously like the tide has gone out or something like that, but like it just looks like it literally just looks otherworldly.
yeah. It's like the reverse version of Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah,
basically. But like they have notions. Why didn't they call it New Ireland?
Yeah, why not?
Because it's clearly comparable to Ireland. New Zealand. Like Zealand that's Denmark, isn't it?
I have no idea.
It's something like that.
I have no idea.
New
I
Zealand.
found it just because you mentioned, like, I don't know why, whatever you said there just made me think of this. Do you know that Stanley Kubrick had a hit on him by the IRA when he was shooting?
Yeah, I remember reading about that in when we did Eyes Wide Shut, I think.
Yeah, I was reading that. I saw that today. Like,
with Barry Lyndon while he was here filming about Barry Lyndon.
He had to leave because they're like, get the fuck out.
Pretty bastard. He deserved it.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
He had to flee the country under an alias and stuff like that.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick. Jeez, running from the Ra. That's the thing.
Yep.
He's standing up to his his female leads, but he won't stand up to the lads,
Pussy.
The Armalites running around the Barry Lyndon set.
But yeah, Lord of the Rings, the fucking like sets perfect. There's all these like lovely little bits that they add in as well that just like flesh out the characters a little bit more. Like there's one where like Legolas is talking to Merry and Pippin, and he's just like he has like some like little biscuit thing, and it's like some elf magic thing, whatever, and he's just like, yeah, a little bite of this is enough to keep a full grown man full for the day. And he's just like takes a little bite and he walks away, and then Miriam turns to Pip and he's like, how many of them did you eat? And he's like, 4. Like just like little bits like that, just like to flesh out the characters and stuff like that. It's great. I saw this thing ages ago, and I'm like really looking for it now when I'm rewatching it with my dad. It's because like Frodo and like the lads, all the crew, they're only together for the first film. Like, because after the first film, Frodo and Samwise go off on their way with Gollum, and then the dwarf, can't remember his name, and Legolas and fucking
Gimli and the boys.
Gimli, that's his name. Yeah, Gimli and oh my god, I want to say Aragorn, but I know that's his name. Is that his name?
Aragorn, yeah, the Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, is that his name? I'm thinking of, what's the dragon one?
Or Aragorn is
Aragorn, yeah.
No, Aragorn is the dragon guy. Maybe Aragorn is just, because Aragorn is the dragon guy.
So Aragorn.
Or Aragorn. Is Aragorn Aragorn?
Fucking Viggo Mortensen and the lads go off on their way as well. And Legolas and Frodo never have a conversation together. And apparently, I don't know why I did that. 2 little fingers point together. They never, it's a very gay movie. So, apparently in the last one, when like Frodo is in bed after like fucking throwing the ring into Mount Doom and stuff like that, and all the lads like they meet up again, he's just like, oh, Gimli, Pippin, Merry, and whatever. And when Legolas walks in, he doesn't say his name because he doesn't know what his name is.
Oh, because he's never met him.
Because they've been traveling together, but they never talked, so he doesn't know what his name is.
Oh, right, yeah.
So he just like smiles, and Legolas just smiles at him, and they just hug, but he doesn't know what his name is.
Like, all right.
He's like, all right, well, right there, man.
All right, man.
We've been through some shit, but like I can't remember your name, sorry, bro.
He doesn't need to. It's the emotional bond that matters.
Yeah. Oh, gee, man. Maybe it was because I was hungover on Sunday, but when Gandalf died, and the bit afterwards where they're like out of the cave, and they're all crying and stuff like that, I was like, I know that he comes back in the next movie, but still hits. Still hits. God, fucking, I think Lord of the Rings is my favorite film. Like, if I was to put them all, if I'm allowed to do that, put the whole extended cut, the whole 12 hours.
Isn't it considered a single piece?
Sure.
A single work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can buy Lord of the Rings as one book.
Well, yeah, but like, wasn't it meant to be a single story? It is. It's a continuous story, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if this Two Towers picks up directly after. I assume it does. Yeah, I think it does.
You ever read the books?
No, and I never will.
They're actually not long at all. Like,
no, I'm just never going to do that.
Never mind.
I'm not arsed.
Yeah, fuck that.
I won't be arsed. Like, I couldn't even finish The Hobbit, man.
The Hobbit is kind of boring.
It is boring, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so short though.
It's only like 200 pages, but
it's a kid's book.
It's too long.
It's for the wee ones, the weens.
The weens. It is for the weens. Did you watch anything that's for the weens?
Yeah. Well, no, not really. I did have a look at. I decided to follow you down the rabbit hole of the Resident Evil series, and I watched Resident Evil Apocalypse. This is the sequel to Resident Evil of 2002. This is Resident Evil Apocalypse 2004.
The names are so bad.
Yeah, because they're very confusing because they're all they're all very, very similar.
Like the next one's Extinction, then there's Afterlife, and then Retribution.
There's Annihilation somewhere in there, isn't there?
No,
or is Afterlife? Oh,
it's
no,
Afterlife.
It's Afterlife. That's
and then there's the final chapter, which at least makes sense. But surely Extinction. Surely Apocalypse comes after Extinction, but anyway, whatever. Whatever.
But yeah, it's a pretty wild one. It's pretty out there. It's very, very 2000s again.
Oh,
2004.
God, isn't it?
Extremely 2000s.
Did you watch Resident Evil the first one yet?
No, I've never seen that before.
You don't even need to because it's just like...
Yeah, it all makes sense.
It just tells you in the opening.
Yeah.
It's like, my name is Alice.
Yeah, it just says it to you, yeah. But yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty out there. It's not the kind of movie that I've seen in like a long, long, long time, you know?
Oh, no. Those 2000 blockbusters hit different.
They just come on at film 4 fucking like 11 o'clock, and I saw them at some point in like 2008, and I just never saw them again.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the kind of film this is, you know?
Yeah, and it's beautiful for it.
Yeah, it's a very particular kind of thing, yeah. But it's action-packed stuff.
Jesus, man.
It's a very, like, you can tell, was this based directly off a video game? Or is it just generally based off the thing?
It's like...
Because it has that perfect premise where it's like it basically pitches the film to the viewer, like a very, very clean, very, very like high concept premise. It's like there's an infection in Raccoon City, and we all need to get out by this time, or else there's going to be a nuclear bomb dropped on us. And there's constantly zombies kind of like coming after you, and you have to evade the zombies, but also figure out where to hide or to find a way out. It's very, very like. You're invested straight away.
Like this film starts and then just like it never lets up.
Yeah, it's a chase sequence like from the beginning to like sort of like the last 10 minutes.
Like it's not based on any one of the video games. It's like an amalgamation of like because I don't think Jill Valentine is in this one. I think she's the character in the third one, in the third game. Maybe she's the character in the second game. And then what's his name? The big monster. Oh fucking hell! I can't think of his name.
Oh, Matt.
Yeah, well, like his
his evil name.
His evil name.
I don't know.
Can't remember his evil name, but he's in the third game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because there's nothing in the second game. Yeah, no, he's in the third game. I can't fucking remember. Resident Evil 3. I can't remember his name. But anyway, he's in the third one. So like there's like, and the liquors or stuff like it's just a hodgepodge of like different iconography from the games.
Yeah.
Just in this one. The dialogue, man. Like I can't believe we're in this is a film where GTA motherfucker is online.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your man
yeah.
just running down the road and just ping someone with the car.
Yeah, it's like halfway in like real world, and then it's just like they've layered this insane kind of, I don't know, teenage boy's wet dream on top of it.
It's a good description.
It's a hyper reality in there, you know.
It really do be. It really do be. Like what I love about this film and like the series as a whole is just the escalation of like from one film to the next. Like the first film was like kind of like low, like I'm gonna quotation marks low key, but then this film
low key
kicks off, and it's just like Alice. Like in the first film, Alice like pretty handily took on like 6 dogs, but they were like, you know, it was a bit of a threat. In this one, she takes out 3 of the things that were the final boss in the first film with like a range of guns, and like flies through like what's what I'm looking for? Like a church window. What's that kind of mosaic kind of thing?
Oh, like stained glass window.
Like a stained glass window with a fucking motorcycle, and just takes one out and then blows the shit out of the 2 other ones.
Has she evolved from the first one?
Oh yeah, she's like more powerful now.
The T cell.
In the third
virus.
one, I'm pretty sure she's like telekinesis.
Telekinetic,
Yeah, telekinetic. Yeah,
that's fucked. I love the part where she's running around with the little girl, and they're trying to save her or whatever. And the guy, one of the mercs who's been like sort of abandoned, rescues them. He's like, yeah, I was abandoned here too. I'm I'm John Doe at your service.
Yeah.
And straight away he gets killed.
Immediately.
Straight away he gets mauled. It's like, this guy's he'd be a great hand. He'd be great help saving this little girl and getting to the end of the plot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just gets killed
immediately.
He gets mauled straight away, brutally killed.
And like I think his last words is like, oh shit, like really serious, like oh shit, as he gets like fucking annihilated by these 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got the big fucking monster that I can't remember his name. That's a really annoying. Yeah, Vengeance? No, I can't remember. Nemesis. It's Nemesis.
Nemesis, yeah.
His name is Nemesis.
I just opened the page.
Yeah, no, it just hit me there. Nemesis. I love him walking around in his big fucking boots. He looks so dorky walking around. Because it's obviously this big, massive costume that someone's wearing, and they can't see a fucking thing in.
Yeah. Yeah, Nemesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a serious customer.
He is. I love that bit where it's like introduction, like storms in or whatever, and he just destroys this like little militia that's like formed in Raccoon City, except for the one civilian. He's like machine gunning them all down with like a Gatling gun. He misses the civilian because that's so good of a shot he is.
Because he knows he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Deep down he is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He was like a nothing character in the first one because he's like his story is that he was in the first one and then they took him and then they turned him into Nemesis. But like in the first one.
Yeah, I got the impression he was like a main character.
Yeah, like he's one of the guys that survives, but like, you know, whatever. He's like, none of the characters matter. Alice is the only character that matters. I'm pretty sure.
Is she not like? She not have a relationship with him, no?
No. Well, like he was the one that survived with her. That's the closest thing that they had as a relationship.
Oh, right.
Like you see the way that there's like 4 of them that survive this one.
Yeah.
None of them come back into it in the next film.
So they all go on to live happy, fulfilled lives beyond Raccoon City.
Getting mauled by zombies somewhere.
Yeah, it's fucked though. Nice little lead-in as well. Just kind of leaves an open note, you know. You know we're coming back to this, you know.
Yeah, it's like we're not done yet.
Yeah, this isn't done here.
Every single one of these films also starts with like, "My name is Alice. I remember everything," and she just like recites as to what happened in the previous film even. So you never have to see any of these films. You can just click on one of them and it'll just fill you in about what's happened. My name is Alice. I remember everything.
Yeah.
God, Alice.
Go on,
what a
Alice.
fucking character.
What a G.
What a G. I love her character design.
Her character design. What do you mean by that?
Just like these jeans, just rocking out with the guns and stuff like that. Bitching.
Yeah.
Just bitching. God. Wait, you haven't seen the first one, so
No, I haven't seen the first
we'll have to wait until the rankings. But I think that this one's better than the first film.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just think it's stupider in all the right ways.
How would you compare it? Like this, it is a 4-star. What's the first one?
Oh, 4 stars as well.
So what's the, or out of 10?
9.
It's a 9.
Yeah, this is a 9.
It's a 9. The first one's what?
An 8.
An 8. Okay.
Like, I love the way that in this one, like, the zombie apocalypse has only just fucking started. Like, I think it says like 9 hours later or whatever is like the cut between like when this film starts and goes like 9 hours later, and then zombies are running rampant. There's already a priest that's like feeding people to a zombie to keep his sister, like his zombie sister, alive. Quotation marks, but you know, desperation. Immediately giving up, like immediately.
They just looked out. He's like, that looks like a zombie. Just like straight away. It's like I have to like lock people down.
It's just like
potential food supplies.
He's like, I've done way worse than this.
Yeah. He's no moral qualms there.
No, he's like, this is fine. This is better than what I'm used to doing.
But yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, the next one isn't as good. The next one's a dip.
This one's next one's Extinction.
Yeah, Extinction. It's kind of a Mad Max kind of film.
Ah, I like Mad Max.
Yeah, but like it's like a bad Mad Max.
Okay, yeah.
It's like Mad Max 3 or 1.
Yeah, Mad Max 3. Beyond.
Is Mad Max 1 meant to be good?
It is good, yeah. Mad Max 1's good. The second one's better. That's because one of the only franchises, you know, as well as probably Resident Evil, where the second one is better than the first one, you know. So that's what it's known for anyway.
Yeah, the next one's just like they're just in a desert for the majority of the film. And she's like telekinesis and she can. There's birds or something in one scene, I can't remember.
Always goes back to the birds.
Always goes back to the birds. Birds are always
the Zerns.
The Zerns.
They're coming.
The horror. The horror.
Anything about the horror of Battlefield Earth?
Oh Jesus! What a fucking movie! Oh my god!
This is like the central piece in the pantheon of bad movies. For most of those listicles, you come across like the worst movies of all time. Battlefield Earth is usually in and around the number 1 spot.
Yeah, and it deserves it. It's so bad. Is that the worst movie I've ever seen?
Well, what is the worst film you've ever seen?
Food Fight.
Yeah, Food Fight. That is, yeah. That's probably the worst film I've ever seen as well.
Yeah, I think Food Fight's the worst.
That's a hilarious film, though.
Yeah.
Is this funny?
No, not really. Like John Travolta. He like
John Travolta.
Like just John Travolta.
Full stop.
Like, do I need this anymore? Like, I can't tell if he's like. I think the reason why it's really funny is because, like, this is a passion project by him. This is, I was gonna say R.L. Stein. What's the guy that made that?
He's his own religion.
What's the guy that made Scientology called?
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
You know, he used to live in Marion Square for years.
Oh, yeah. I think you told me that before.
Yeah, he used to live in Marion Square.
Mad.
Bizarre. In one of those gaffs. He's walking around. Like, Xenu, that sounds like a good name for my protagonist. My Jesus character.
He's just looking at, like, Irish and it's like, this is written by the gods.
Yeah.
Because, like, this was a Battlefield Earth, I should say, was a book written by L. Ron Hubbard. I was going to say R.L. Stein. L. Ron Hubbard. And, like, John Travolta being a Scientologist was like, I want to make this into a film. It's going to be big, huge, sci-fi epic. No one wanted to touch it. And then there's, like, some company, apparently, some production company will just, like, if a celebrity has, like, a passion project and has the funds, they'll just fucking do it for them. So you got this, like, the production company, whatever, to do it. So it's like, it is a passion project by John Travolta. You would not tell by his performance.
He's phoning it in.
Oh, Jesus. He just, like, doesn't fucking care. Like, I just feel like...
What are the odds he got threatened into doing this? Or was maybe brainwashed?
Like, he just, like... well, yeah, I guess. This is, like... I think this is 2000.
2000, yeah.
I think, so it's, like, peak of, like, Scientology scare.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's like no one really gives a shit about Scientology anymore.
No one's converting anyway.
Yeah. Come on. Who the fuck is converting to Scientology
It's
now?
a pyramid scheme, yeah.
So like that scare isn't really there anymore. Apparently, like this film was hated when it came out, but like obviously for obvious reasons. But like it bombed as well because no one wanted to go see it because it's a Scientology film. But like it has nothing to do with Scientology, which is my biggest fucking complaint about it. Like there's nothing about Scientology in this film. It is just a bad film that doesn't. It's not even trying to convert me or like brainwash me or anything. It's just fucking boring. It's a bad story where like humans are like nearly extinct and there's like these aliens mass races come down and John Travolta is one of these and Forrest Whitaker,
yeah,
he's also in this. I think that the only two real names that are in it. Is Forrest Whitaker in Scientology?
He must be.
Maybe
got paid a bit fat wage for this.
I wonder if all the actors in this are in Scientology. I actually didn't even look it up, but anyway.
Free labor. Free labor, probably.
Yeah, we'll
cut down in costs.
We'll boost up your like I don't know power numbers, whatever. The fuck
yeah,
goes on
his Theta level.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Theta, yeah.
Yeah. So like he's in this as well. Also dog shit, but like whatever. And like the aliens are trying to mine Earth for gold, and they're enslaving humans, but it's a crime within the syndicate, whatever, to teach the humans to mine for gold. But then why are you enslaving them? Why are you not using humans to enslave them? Because they keep thinking that like humans are complete idiots. And like it shows them like from the, let's call them the Zerns, from the Zerns perspective, and they do like the like animals that like they literally just like replicate like monkeys basically is how they sound like to the Zerns or whatever. But like at the same time, it's like you're living in their old cities. Like you can tell they're like they had a civilization, a very advanced civilization from like, you know, maybe not from like, you know, space logic or whatever, but like the dudes can clearly fucking mine for gold. Like they used gold before. So why not just I don't know, the super advanced alien civilization are all fucking morons in this. So it's like I can't buy them as this like dominant force. Like they're really dumb, like really really dumb.
Yeah, they're called the Cyclos. Which is kind of like it's kind of so on the nose. But the main guy is, or the main human, Johnny Goodboy Tyler. Yeah. What kind of name is that?
Oh man.
What kind of name
That's
is
the
that?
peak writing. That's the best writing in this film.
Yeah.
Johnny Goodboy.
Your main character is Johnny Goodboy.
Yeah.
Like, what? What? It's like, so on the nose.
Like L. Ron is sitting
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Oh god, I can't think of Johnny Goodboy. I can't use Johnny White Guy, but Johnny Goodboy. Yeah, like that's like there's nothing about Scientology in the film, which is really disappointing. I wanted this film to be like vaguely offensive to my sensibilities, but it wasn't even. It was just fucking boring. There's so many crossfades, you know, like the thing in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Jesus, there are so many. Like every scene ends with a crossfade for no fucking reason. No reason. And there's all these Dutch angles.
Yeah, I've seen the compilations.
Oh my god! Like just like complete. Like the person that made this film did not understand like filmmaking. He did not understand like the effect that a cut can have, the effect that a camera angle can have, and like I watched this on Friday, and on Sunday I watched Lord of the Rings. And like Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. Apparently, it only adapted half of the book.
Yeah, there's meant to be a second one.
Half of the book.
How?
The book is 1,000 pages long. Actually, I have a review. You know Neil Gaiman?
Yes.
You know the writer? He reviewed the book and called it unputdownable. He said it was a magnificent tribute to the days of pulp. Over 1,000 pages of thrills, spills, vicious aliens, and noble humans. Clearly, he's a Scientologist, so that's just creepy. That's
Maybe
a bit creepy to read, to be honest.
Like,
because he's a respected author.
But like, surely the fuck, Elrond can write a story if he made a fucking religion. You know?
Oh yeah, but the story sounds terrible.
But like, I don't know if it's the stories like, or it's just like really poorly told in this.
But how could you tell as well? You know,
I suppose
it just sounds kind of shy.
A good story should be good regardless of how you tell it. Like,
yeah. But yeah, what would you rate it anyway?
a half.
A half star.
A half
one.
star. A 1.
A 1 out of 10.
A 1 out of 10.
What'd you give on Letterboxd?
Half star.
A half.
Yeah.
You don't even give halves.
I give
This
half.
is unprecedented.
I give halves to like the worst of the worst. I give like a 1 star to like, there's some redeeming qualities, but half stars like there's literally nothing redeeming about this film.
Jesus, that's so grim.
Yeah, man, it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours long. It has absolutely no right to be that long.
Come on.
Oh, fucking hell. Like, here's a question, right? Besides Pulp Fiction and, like, Grease, has John Travolta ever been in something good?
The Taking of Pelham 123. It's the remake. Very good film.
Is it? Okay.
Or it's not very good.
But it's
alright.
decent. It's decent.
It's good. What else? He's been in other decent stuff.
But, like, has he been good in something?
He was good, no.
Okay. Right.
He was like the villain.
So we got 3 films. We got 3.
Here, wait. Let me have a look. I feel like there is. I feel like there's a few interesting ones. You know?
I feel like he has to have. I've always found it funny that like John Travolta wasn't even meant to be in Pulp Fiction. Your man, Michael Mann, or is that his name? Your man that's in Reservoir Dogs that cuts off the cop's ear.
Oh right, yeah, it's supposed to be him.
It was meant to be him, but he turned it down or something, or like I think he was like dealing with alcoholism or something at the time. I can't remember exactly why, but he didn't do it for like reasons.
Yeah, he was in Hairspray.
Oh yeah, he's the man in Hairspray.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's wearing that. He's wearing a fat suit.
Wild Hogs. Ever see that?
Wild Hogs is dog shit.
No, it's not.
No, Wild Hogs is so bad.
Wild Hogs is great. I used to like Wild Hogs. I haven't seen it in a while now, but
leave it. Keep it that way, bro. Keep it that way. Keep the memory good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really. It's actually kind of remarkable how he's managed to be so big.
Yeah,
based off like 3 films.
It's just Pulp Fiction.
But he came into Pulp Fiction after having as a fallen star.
Yeah.
And like that revived his career. But how did he have a career?
Was it like Saturday Night Fever or something he was in as well?
Yeah, he must. Yeah, Saturday Night Fever and Grease. It must have been.
That must have been it. But like he's pretty old at that stage anyway.
He's in Carrie actually. He was the the boyfriend.
Mad. Didn't know he was in Carrie.
Yeah. And Carrie's not like a huge film, though, is it?
Yeah, but I don't know. Is Carrie...
Kind of iconic, though.
Yeah, it's iconic, but is it beloved or anything?
Yeah,
I don't think so anymore.
It's alright, like...
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I don't really want to. I've got no interest in seeing it.
What's the bloody point?
So what is Easy A in use?
It's alright.
Please talk about something good.
It's good. It's good, you know. There's not much to say about it.
I've been wanting to see this film, and I don't know why.
Because like I think it's kind of known. Because I'd heard that it was actually pretty good. Because you know the way there's all those like.
Is it kind of Mean Girlsy?
Yeah, in the way that it has like a solid critique somewhere in it. It's smart about what it's like about its subject. It's not just like a rom-com kind of thing. It's not just a stupid rom-com. It's actually very well done, and it has the guy from You in it. It has Amanda Bynes, and it has Emma Stone. You know, three iconic actors these days. It's from 2010. I remember when it came out back in the day.
I remember when it came out.
Yeah. Those are the golden days.
What is the story to this? Because I always think it's just like she pretends to have sex with all these guys.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's this girl called Olive, and she lies to her best friend about losing her virginity, and then gains this reputation around the school that she's a slut. You know, she's like she'll sleep with anybody. You know,
she's an easy A.
She's an easy A. And it's kind of like, it's like a half adaptation of The Scarlet Letter.
Oh.
Which is kind of weird.
Is that where the A comes from?
Yeah, the A.
Oh, that's what? I did not expect that.
Yeah. I didn't expect that at all. I was like, Because there's a scene, because they're doing that in school, obviously. Mm-hmm. They're studying the Scarlet Letter. That's about like a woman who's an adulterer, and she's like cast out by her community. Mm-hmm. And, it's all about morality and like, judge not lest ye be judged and stuff like that, and like
I cannot remember Scarlet Letter at all.
Neither can I, but that's what the movie said anyway.
Yeah. It is like just wear an A, and it's like
just wear an A. Yeah.
She didn't really. I don't think she did have commit adultery or anything.
Yeah, but like point is, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's the
point.
That's the moral, I think.
From what I remember of it.
But yeah, there's actually a scene where she comes into school. And it's after she's been established as like the easy A. So she comes in with like an A, like sort of like sewn onto her like outfit and stuff. She's wearing like all these, you know.
Oh, it's really on the nose.
yeah. She's wearing all these revealing, but like it's like like she's saying, I'm doing this to reproduce the Scarlet Letter.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like different like subplots with there is an adultery subplot and stuff like that. And then she gets with the guy at the end, you know, the sort of like the boy next door who
Boy Dreamy Eyes.
Yeah, the
John Goodman.
Penn Badger, the guy from You, you know. And
you were watching You, weren't you?
Yeah, man. You was actually great. that's one of my guilty pleasures. I actually really enjoyed You. It's so stupid, but it's so like it's kind of like I love this, you know. I actually really look forward to watching it. Like, but I'm all done it now. I'm up to date with the series, but it's just like it's just silly soap opera stuff.
Yeah. Fun teenage Netflix soap opera.
Yeah, but this is kind of more. It's kind of more serious because like the whole point is it's actually none of the things that she's being or like accused of or like sort of like she plays into the rumors. Like she takes money off people to say that she's like had sex with them or like, you know, gone to second base and stuff like that. And then there's like sort of the implications. She sort of transitions from being like sort of you know, the talk of the school, like, oh, you had sex, to being like, oh, you're a slut, like you go every guy. But the whole point is like she hasn't actually done any of these things. It's all like social chatter, and you have like, you know, the holier than thou, like sort of you know, literally holier than thou, the Christian group, like Amanda Bynes plays this mad Christian character. She's like, oh, you're going to hell and all this stuff, and it's like all these kind of these moral failures of characters. Looking down on her, but then she's just doing her own thing basically.
She's just vibing.
She's just vibing with her own and vibing with her own people. And the thing, at the end of the day, is the kid who she knew from way back then, back when.
The
nice guy who she had her first kiss with, but it wasn't actually first kiss, because she lied about it. It's all about stuff like that. I don't know, like fake news and stuff. I think it's commentary fake news. But yeah, it's good.
It's good.
It's a good one, you know.
It's a good teen romp.
It is. It's like Mean Girls in that like it's good to watch.
Yeah.
It's not a stupid film. It's a very smart film. And
a lot of those like
I think it's appealing. It's got like a broad appeal.
A lot of those like I don't use the term chick flicks, but I'm gonna use the term chick flicks.
That's what I mean to say. Yeah.
Like I don't use that term because it's like it's not fair to use that term. Like, you know, chick flicks are good though.
But there is a cohort of films that have like that kind of vibe. Yeah.
Like they're all really well written. Like the actual dialogue and stuff like that is good.
Yeah, well the good ones anyway.
Yeah, the good ones.
Like
Mean Girls, the fucking one with Paul Rudd,
fucking
Clueless.
Yeah,
Clueless is great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pretty sure Whip It is also pretty good from what I remember of it.
Whip It, what's that?
Or is it called Whip It? Roller skating one. Oh, maybe I have that wrong. Or no way. Perfect Snogging, that one.
Oh, Angus Thongs and the Perfect Snogging. Yeah.
I remember that one being pretty good as well. There's a few of them. There's a handful of them. I can't remember them off the top of my head. Like most things in life, I can't remember. But there's a bunch of them that are like they are really well written.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's fertile soil, you know. It's like because there's a lot to.
St. Trinian's is great. I love St. Trinian's.
St. Trinian's, I've never seen that. Yeah,
it's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, there's a lot to sort of unpack there. To use it, you know, that kind of term. You know?
Yeah.
Or even
Wild Child.
Wild Child, yeah.
Wild Child's great, man.
Man, I had a dream there last week where I went to go see Wild Child with Orla.
In
IMAX. No, it was like it was like a huge screen in the Omni. And I woke up and I was so depressed. I was like, what was I doing?
I wish I did that.
But it was such a it was so weird though. But I don't know why it was Wild Child. I saw it like a year ago, but for some reason it just stuck in my head, and it still stuck in my head. I know everything about that film.
Man, I've seen that film.
Did we talk about it?
I think we might have mentioned Wild Child a while ago, but I remember seeing that film like 10 years ago, and there's something about the plot of that film that I just remember it.
I was saying to Orla they should do an Irish adaptation of it, you know, where they get a Brit and they send her to the Gaeltacht.
Yeah. Oh my.
She falls in love with like this big dopey guy player, you know.
Don't say anymore because we can sell this RT.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Actually, RT wouldn't even fucking make that.
Well, sell it to BBC
Channel 4 would do it.
Yeah. But that would be a great idea, you know.
That is a good idea. That's a very good idea. I tell you what's not a good idea though.
What is not?
Revenge is never a good idea. Like that's what they say. Every single revenge film has the same message that revenge is not good. And I Saw the Devil continues on with that that theme. This is a South Korean film from like 2015, 2014. Excuse me. So it's a South Korean film as well. I don't know if I probably did just say that, but anyway. So like it is, I would say it is a unofficial fourth installment in the Vengeance trilogy by Park Chan-wook.
Wait, what?
Because it's a film it's a South Korean film.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
About revenge, and also stars the lead of Oldboy and the killer from Lady Vengeance. So like it has actors that were in that trilogy, like the same way that those films have recurring actors in it. It has a theme of vengeance, and like those other movies, is super violent. This one was way more violent than those films, and it's done by a different director as well. Can't remember his name, but oh man, this film is so fucking violent. Jesus Christ!
What happens? What's the most violent thing that happens?
And Achilles gets slit,
nah.
like really slowly.
Why? In a torture kind of way?
Okay, so this is the plot, right? Okay. So the plot is that there's a serial killer going around who's just like murdering like women and children, and he murders this woman, and he like chops her into pieces, and these kids find her ear, and then her head is found, and then like the rest of her body is found, and her fiance is a like secret agent, top level elite force army dude, whatever.
He's a SEAL.
He's a SEAL. He's just
SEAL Team 6.
He's just like, top level agent, and he's like, right, I'm gonna find the guy that did this, and I'm gonna make his life a fucking living hell. And he finds the guy that does it, and he proceeds to break the dude's arm, almost like choke him out with the plastic bag, and bash his head against a rock and stuff like that. And then he just leaves him, and he leaves him all this money, and he sticks a tracking device down his throat, and then he leaves him, and then he lets your man walk up, get fixed up, whatever, and then he comes back, and he fucks him up again, and then he leaves him, and he comes back, and he fucks him up again, and he just keeps doing it. It's like a cat and mouse game, but the mouse is the serial killer.
Yeah, alright. So he's the prey.
Yeah, he's the prey. It's a complete reverse on what you kind of expect. And the opening bit where the special agent force guy comes into contact with the serial killer. The serial killer's obviously like, oh, you're just a cop. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And it's coming at him with a knife and a scythe and stuff like that. And it's the special forces guy is never ever in danger. He is always in control, and just will use the objects around him to mangle this dude, and he slits his Achilles tendon one bit. There's a bit where it's a very serious film, but it's also a kind of stupid film as well. You really have to suspend disbelief for this film. There's a bit where escape cops hunting this guy down now at this stage because they know who he is, and also the special forces guy. The serial killer goes to his mate's gaff, who is also a serial killer who lives with a serial killer wife, and he's a cannibal, and they're it's a Texas Chainsaw house.
Yeah.
And the special forces guy comes in and proceeds to mangle the two of them, and also mangle the serial killer that he's after. But it's just revenge, is never the answer. I actually think that what this film's message is, if you're gonna commit revenge against a serial killer, keep him trapped. Don't let him wander around, because he'll eventually discover that he has a tracking device in him, and then get rid of that, and then proceed to fuck up your family.
Oh, is that what happens?
That's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's never a good idea, is it?
Yeah. Just if you're
just do it.
You've already mangled them, so just keep them in place, and then just keep mangling them.
yeah, just kidnap them or something. Yeah,
that's what they did in Lady Vengeance. They didn't let the serial killer wander around. They nailed him to something and then just kept him there and then torched him.
That's the way to do it, I think.
And the whole thing is the agent is trying to inflict fear and pain on this serial killer, but the serial killer is a complete psychopath, and is I feel no fear at all. I'm not scared at all at any point. Whatever you're trying to derive out of me, you're not going to get it out of me because I'm a fucking psychopath and I don't really care.
Do psychopaths not feel fear?
I guess not. Well, this psychopath doesn't. Like, I know at stages he's like, there's a bit where like he like fucks with him and he starts like crying like, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. And it's like, he just looks up and is like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But then he does care. Like, he actually does kind of care at the end.
About the guy?
Because the guy like has him like trapped in this thing where if a door opens, his head will be decapitated, and like so your man's there like trying to keep the door closed, and then he hears his mom and his dad and his kid comes in, and he's like, like he starts like shouting down the phone to the guy like, you fucking bastard, I will live through this and I will kill everyone you love. Obviously he doesn't, but like he's like, you actually did kind of win this round. Like, this is the way to fuck me up, I guess.
Yeah,
because I do care about my family. So like the whole thing about the film is like, don't become a monster to defeat a monster and stuff like that. Standard revenge schlock. But like, this film is incredibly well made. It is so well shot, really well acted. There's this great sequence where like the serial killer, this is one of the bits you have to suspend your disbelief for. The serial killer gets into a car after his like second encounter with the guy, and like he's like, his arm is broke, or his first encounter, his arm is broken, and his head's all fucked up and whatever, and he gets into this car, and the agent had like 4 suspects that he was going after, and he went to 2 of them first, and they were the wrong guy, but like they were also killing people, so like he also mangled those guys. But the 2 people that are in the car is a taxi man, and there's a guy behind him, and the guy behind him is the 4th suspect. So there's like 2 serial killers, there's 3 serial killers in this car in the one spot, and like the serial killer, our serial killer that we follow, realizes like the situation that he's in, that like these 2 guys are going to try and kill him, and then he mangles the 2 of them with like a shank and just like stabs them. But the car is driving on the road, and the camera is like spinning around the car as he's like stabbing the guy beside him, and then turning around and stabbing the guy behind him, and stabbing him like repeatedly. Really, really well shot. Like loads of it, like all the action is really well shot. All the guys do their own stunts and stuff like that. It's kind of like it's Raid-ish. In fact, I think the Raid came out before this, so that would kind of make sense. Like the action's like,
when's this from?
2014, 2015, 2013. The Raid is like 2010, 9, 11, around that time.
You see they're remaking the Raid?
Are they?
Yeah, Gareth Edwards, guy did Godzilla.
Yeah, he did the Raid.
No, different guy. The guy did Godzilla. Oh no, maybe
it's the same guy.
Is it?
Gareth Edwards did the Raid 2, and he did Godzilla.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
I thought this was a completely different guy.
No, yeah, he's had a very strange career.
Basically, maybe he's just overseeing it, producing it, but I can't remember the other name. In fact, I will look it up now. But basically, there's another guy, and Netflix are doing it.
Oh, sick.
But the indications are it's going to be shit.
Oh, yeah. But if Netflix are doing it, I'm assuming it's going to be shit. We have that new Texas Chainsaw film out next month.
Oh, yeah, that'll be good. Michael Bay and Gareth Evans. That's what I was thinking of. Michael Bay and Gareth Evans.
Fuck, is he just producing?
Yeah, I assume, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Michael Bay could be a decent... I'm saying that now. He can be a decent producer, but I don't know what he's produced.
Yeah.
When's the last time Michael Bay made a film?
It
was like Transformers 6 or something?
He made... Remember that one, Midway?
No.
He made Midway. There's one about like had fucking Patrick Wilson in it, the guy from The Conjuring. It was like World War II. It was like 2 years ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Patrick Hughes to direct, with Michael Bay on board to produce. But yeah, they're gonna remake that anyway.
That's cool. I mean, it's gonna be good. If it's an American remake, it's gonna be shit. But like,
Gareth Edwards, give it a go.
Gareth Edwards looking over it. You know, if he just directs the action, it'll be fun. That's all that you want. It's just him.
It's actually Gareth Evans.
Evans, yeah.
It's just the guy from the Gareth Edwards is the guy that did Godzilla. It's actually different.
Yeah, the action in it is like hand to hand, like shaky cam, like not really bad shaky cam, like good shaky cam. Really succinct, gory as all hell. Like there's so many decapitated like limbs, dismemberance and stuff like that in this film. Like post.
Yeah.
Dismemberance, some of it during. There's a bit where like where the cannibal serial killer is like in a hospital bed after getting fucked up with the special forces guy. Special forces guy comes back into him and is like, "Where is the serial killer?" and he's just like, he starts taking the piss out of him. So he's like, do you find that funny? And he sticks his hands into his mouth and he's like, I'm gonna give you a permanent smiley, and just starts pulling on his top jaw and his bottom jaw. And there's like little slits coming, and then you don't see the full thing, but like you see enough. Yeah, like it is a gory it's a gory film. But like again, most of the violence is done on the serial killers, except for, and this is the problem with the film, except for all the women characters, they are quite literally all just there to be props to die or get saved, or like, you know, there is no female character, like actual female characters in this film, except for one of them, and she ends up getting raped and murdered. So
that's the problem with revenge films, isn't it? It's all about the women.
Yeah,
well,
like,
not about the women, but like, oh no,
like
the woman got fucked up, I must, you know, reclaim my masculinity.
Like they're literally just plot points,
like,
which makes me like, looking back on Irreversible, like that was a good revenge film because like
the reversal,
reverse of it. But like again, like that is a kind of a problem in the film where like all the female characters are just plot points and objects to progress the plot and like to make tension within the scene, because this woman is about to have like violence committed on her, either be it like, you know, sexual assault, or, you know, she's about to get dismembered by this serial killer or whatever. At no point does that not happen to, and like all, like there's like a handful of female characters and all of them are either almost killed, almost raped, or are killed and are raped. That's it. Like that's grim.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
That's a problem. Like,
that's the problem with these violent movies these days. You know? These days, anyway.
These days.
Back in my day, they were completely different.
The 2000s, notoriously great time for women.
yeah. 90s, 50s, 60s. That was a glory era of Grindhouse.
Yeah. But, you know, it's still a really good film. Really well directed, really well shot, everything like that. But, you know, just slight problems. It's also, like, the whole thing about revenge, I'm just tired of seeing it in films. Like, every film about revenge has the same point.
Who cares, really? Come on.
Like, come on.
We need a film
different take.
Yeah, we need a film that says revenge is good. You should always be resentful of other people.
Yeah, you should commit violence on people if they deserve it.
yeah. If you feel they deserve it, yeah. Like something that just goes completely against the grain. You're like, well, that made me think, you know.
What's that bit? I think it's in like Seven Psychopaths. There's like a line where like them this conversation like, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, and then Sam Rockwell's character goes like, not the last guy, and it's just like, what do you mean? It's like, well, the last guy has one eye and everyone else is blind, so he can just run and hide.
Yeah. That's it.
Be the last guy. That's
the moral.
That's what the next revenge film that's ever made should be. Is like, you should be the last guy.
Yeah, just make sure you're the guy that wins. That's it. Yeah, that's pretty much that's revenge.
As long as you're a winner, doesn't matter. We go for a break.
We'll go for a quick break.
And we are back from the break.
We are indeed.
We've a guest in the room, my cat Millie.
We last have a guest. It would be good to have her on, but I think she would run away if we tried to get her on.
She is flake. Look at her. Flat as a pancake.
Yeah. She's camouflaged as well. Aw.
Damn, I
did we pick that up?
I don't think it did.
Should have picked that up.
Hello. Damn, I wish we...
She's so cute.
Wait, is the microphone able to stretch? That definitely got picked up. Definitely got picked up. Grant. See, there she is.
Let's put that on loop.
She's all purrs.
Hello.
All chilled. Oh, Jesus. Did you watch anything else?
Yeah, I had a look at a classic. A cult classic. Kind of a cultural classic. Soylent Green.
I've never heard of this film.
You've never heard of Soylent Green? Surely you have. Soylent Green. It's one of those films that's like permeated the like cultural memory in a way that like everyone knows the basic plot of the film in some intuitive way. I feel like I did anyway.
It's just like done to death in pop culture.
Yeah. It's just like a really common frame of like a common thing to be referenced. It's in everything.
Yeah,
like it's referenced everywhere. Like there's a twist at the end, which I think I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you. Yeah.
You can say the twist. I'm gonna from the 70s.
Yeah, this film is 50 years old, which is the thing. Which is not ever hear like Soylent, you know, that's an actual thing. You've never heard of Soylent?
No.
It's a food substitute basically. It's soy based.
Soy.
Yeah.
For the soy boys.
Yeah. Like it was used within that kind of like mythology, that kind of like incel alt-right mythology. It was part of that as well, like the soy boy.
Fucking course it was.
Like somewhat.
They gotta ruin everything.
It's somewhat adjacent to Soylent, and Soylent was a food substitute which was named after the titular food substitute which is featured in this film, since Soylent Green, and it's a 1973 film. It stars Charlton Heston, which I'm sure everyone knows who that guy is. You know, he's the guy from Planet of the Apes and like fucking Ben-Hur, I think, and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, sure, I have no idea.
He's just that guy, you know. He's like
that guy.
He's the model for like Zapp Brannigan.
Yeah.
He's just that guy from like 50s, 60s, 70s American cinema. And it's just kind of a prescient story, science fiction / police procedural / eco horror film, which is such a great kind of vibe for the present day.
It's a lot of good words you're coming out with there.
Yeah. It's something that like it's very rewatchable in terms of like, or not rewatchable. It's very like applicable. It's like relevant. You know, it's not just like some fucking throwaway science fiction film. It has some kind of like thematic relevance to, you know, even 50 years going forward. Because it is set in 2022. That's the reason that I actually watched it. It's one of the films. I looked up a list of films that are set in the future, but set in the year 2022. And this is the first film that came up. It's like the most notable example. You know the way you have like Blade Runner 2019.
Yeah.
And like Back to the Future 2 is 2015. It's like, you know, 2015. That's fucking ancient history. That's like Planet of the Apes stuff, you know. But it's like in a science fiction setting. But this is Soylent Green. It's set in 2022 in New York. New York has a population of 40 million people, 50% unemployment, and the Earth has become kind of like desertification is kind of like rampant. It's about climate change basically, and the destruction of the ecological system, kind of based around, I don't know like what their understanding of it would have been at the time, but like it's greenhouse. The greenhouse effect is mentioned like multiple times in the film. Yeah, about how emissions have kind of
skyrocketed.
Been enclosed into the like the fucking biosphere, and it's caused the heating up of the planet. Yeah, and destruction of like the natural supply chain. Like just like life is dying out, and because of this, organic like fresh produce meat is like a highly sought after like luxury item. Like you never see meat, you never see beef. It's it's like a plot point that a jar of strawberries goes for $150, which is a lot more back then, obviously. But so to make up for that like sort of food deficit, they have a company, like a massive sort of multinational conglomerate called Soylent, which produces different kinds of foods, like Soylent Red, Soylent Yellow, and at the start of the film they just come out with Soylent Green, which is just like it's like a cracker, it's like a wafer. Which is like, it's like the thing in Lord of the Rings where you eat it and it's good for a day's nutrition. And so they hand this out to the population, like the unwashed masses, as like a kind of, you know, it's like a bribe. Don't get too rowdy. Yeah. But, you know, there's always going to be, you know, shortages and stuff like that. Like can't keep up with demand. The whole film is basically about kind of like industrial civilization outrunning itself, basically. Yeah. And like the sort of the space in between, like where people actually live, like especially in urban areas where like you can actually feel you can feel the fucking heat of the flames beneath you as things actually start to get, like, you know, literally in sense of the climate, and like figuratively in sense of like things are getting a lot worse, and there's certain people that will feel it a lot stronger than the people at the top. The film actually starts with this mad kind of it's like a cool montage of basically industrial society and how that began, and like it starts to accelerate. It has like images of like urban areas, and like it's like Koane is Kotsi. Yeah. You know, as like, and it accelerates as it gets closer and closer to the 21st century. And it's just like, it's like a visual metaphor for capitalism, basically, or industrial society, whatever one you call it. Basically the machine of technology that's like consuming resources at an exponential pace, and with like, you know, fatal consequences. And that's like the setup. That's like the basic premise of the film. But like the actual I don't know if you call it like a frame story. It's almost like the scaffolding of the film is just like a murder mystery, which is really weird because it has Charlton Heston as the main character. He's like a detective called Thorne. He's called Detective Thorne, and he's investigating a case where a high up executive for Soylent was killed in an apparent burglary. But Thorne obviously knows that this is no burglary, you know.
There's no measly burglary.
Yeah, there's something
going on.
There's something afoot, is basically what he's saying. And in every scene, you can see like the effects of the environment. You know, like like everyone's always sweating. Yeah, it's always like piping hot. And it's in the middle of New York.
Does it feel hot?
Yeah, it feels all sticky and it feels really cramped. It's very kind of a claustrophobic environment. Like everyone's like stacked in on top of each other. Thorne lives in like a fucking bed chair or a flat chair with like this old guy who's like a respected academic.
Oh, so it is like Dublin.
It's like Dublin, yeah. It's like modern Dublin, or maybe 2050 Dublin, you know, when things kind of heat up. But
don't know, man. It's pretty warm today.
It actually is, yeah. It actually was really warm today. But yeah, this respected academic, his name's Saul Roth, and he's a really smart guy, and he basically kind of helps out with Thorne's, you know, the cerebral part of the investigation, because Thorne's all, you know, fucking, you know, swashbuckling. I'm the big I am. Like I'll just use my fists to sort out the suspects and stuff like that. Real like old school kind of thing. And then Saul Roth is he's like the brains behind the operation. He understands what Thorne's onto. He's like, there's something weird here, but we have to figure out what it is. But so like Thorne's like you know, investigating different things, and it's kind of like it's a way, or it's like a plot device to kind of navigate the world, and that's what the film is all about. It's not even really about the Soylent Green, about like the food product, even though that's the most famous kind of like kind of like artifact from the film that people would take away. Like the food isn't really central. The food thing isn't really central to the plot. Or it is central to the plot, but it's not the main. It's not the main focus.
Yeah, it's not the main thing. Yeah.
It's part of the furniture, like much in the same way that there's like a side romance plot with this girl called Shirley, I think. And Shirley is Thorne's like, you know, love interest, and he comes across her because she was the guy who got killed. She was his like fucking concubine. Which basically works that she was attached to the apartment where this guy lived. So like, she's like an indentured servant, where she like provides like, you know, sexual kind of fucking services for whoever owns the apartment. So she's also attached to the next tenant who comes in. So she's referred to as furniture. Like she's
so creepy.
Like perfectly objectified, the perfect subject of the ideology around her. She's perfectly objectified, only regarded in terms of her economic worth, or even her sexual worth is only kind of it's calculated in terms of like its relation to its bondage to the actual, you know, the real estate that she's kind of tied to as an indentured servant. It's really, really weird. And it's the same thing with the food. It's just kind of like, it's there. It's part of the environment. It's part of the furniture. And Thorne's going around. He's like investigating all these whatever's
weird happenings.
Whatever's up in New York. And he realizes he's getting followed, and like there's clearly conspiracy. There's something happening from the top. And Roth is doing a bit of investigation, and it becomes apparent that the guy who was killed was a hit, and that he'd come to discover some terrible secret before he died, and that his conscience was weighing on him. That the people at the top were like this guy's he's a liability. We have to take him out. And so then like the third act is kind of like trying to figure out what exactly that is, and Roth comes to find out what it is. He goes to like this big kind of like academic center, and he's parsing through all the pages, and he's talking to the other, you know, old boffins and stuff like that, and he figures out what the problem is, and he immediately goes to a suicide booth, and it's actually this really kind of trippy, really sci-fi, really like futuristic scene where he's like brought to this like facility, and he's decided he's gonna die. I think it's one of the first depictions of that kind of thing in like a mainstream film, and he decided
definitely, because I can't think of a film from before that would do something like that.
Yeah, it's really weird. He decides he's gonna die, and he's like wheeled into a room. He's like left on his own, and like as he's dying, he's given like it's like a fucking IMAX presentation of the old Earth. So it's like
Jeez, I've seen that and stuff as well. I've definitely seen something like that.
Yeah, it's just like, on the Silver Globe, they're kind of like pining for this Earth. But like it's just the Earth as it was before human intervention, basically.
Yeah.
Like there's like animals that have like long been dead. There's like savannas, like the sun setting on the savannah. Like all these images that you'd recall from like primordial, like ape brain and stuff like that. And he's just there dying. But it's not like a nihilistic kind of sci-fi vision, in the sense that like it's not like, oh, he's allowed to die, or it's not kind of like promoting it.
Yeah,
it's more saying like it's like the broader context is this guy is like found the truth behind what's happening in this society, and he's chosen to kill himself straight away.
Yeah,
and there's just a service there. It's like that's like built into the system that like this is going to happen at some point, because there are things that people can't grapple with. And they need, as they're dying as well, they need to be kind of comforted by the natural things that they would have been, they would have known before, like kind of naturally,
Yeah, I have definitely seen that in something. I can picture that scene in something else, like someone on like their deathbed, just like watching clips of stuff, and then slowly get injected. Does he get injected with something?
Yeah. He's just lying on a bed.
100% seen that in something. I've no idea. It might have been Futurama or something, but I've seen that as well.
Yeah, I feel like it was. Futurama has a lot of kind of references to this, you know. But it is one of those films where like different bits and pieces have just kind of fallen into the like the common cultural vernacular in terms of like films and different media and stuff. And Thorn shows up just as Roth is about to pass away, and Roth passes on the secret, but you don't hear it. You don't get to hear it because like the fucking the radio's cut out, and then Thorn goes on this mad rampage, and his whole world is shaken, and the thing is like the whole point, what Roth came to understand was he was researching the kind of like the marine ecosphere, like the marine ecology, like the state of the oceans, because the whole thing with the Soylent Green was it was based on plankton. It was like because they had different versions of Soylent that were based on different things like plants and like animals and like trees and stuff like that. And Soylent Green was based on plankton, and he was looking up kind of like the state of the oceans at the time, and he realized that plankton, like due to industrial society, like the basic kind of mechanism and like procession of the way humans existed in the world or are existing in the world in this universe, that the plankton have like been depleted to an extent that there's no way that the Soylent Green can have been derived from plankton. That's all like a PR job, and that's just like it's something that it's a line that's being fed by the corporation. It's not actually true, and there's only one other thing that could explain where it's coming from, and that's
overpopulation on the earth.
Yeah, and that's the twist. It's like a very, very famous twist. It's like it's people. It's people. It's like Soylent Green is people. It's like a Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I was gonna say when you started talking about this film, I was gonna ask, does it have similar vibes to Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
It does, but in a way that's like the Body Snatchers are just humans that have like kind of been alienated from their humanity.
Yeah,
like they're just like capitalists.
But like this is just like.
It's way more like
more literal.
Yeah, way more literal. Yeah. So it's like that, like the humanity itself, and like the blood and flesh of the people, and like the inhabitants of New York and the inhabitants of the world has been objectified and kind of like instrumentalized by capital to an extent that
they're just products.
They're basically an entirely different species, entirely different race, or they are regarded as such. They're basically just cattle.
They're a raw material.
Yeah, that are fed themselves to, it's like a closed loop, which it's just like sums up the illogical nature of this weird thing that they have going on. None of this is really like said explicitly in the film, but like this,
it's what you can take it.
Yeah, it's very much a
subtext.
Exactly. Yeah, it's subtext. There's a lot of subtext in the film. I think it's really good.
That sounds really good.
It is a good film.
That sounds really good.
It's not like an all-timer. It's not a complete home run, but it's like a
good cult classic.
It's a cult classic. And I think it's one that I think has it makes sense having watched it, that like I would have known what was happening already, because like this is the parts that really like stand out like you can see why they stand out, like why people remember them.
Like the iconography of it is really
why
iconic.
Why it's still worth sort of going back to. It's like the Matrix in that kind of way. It's like it's a very easy kind of metaphor to apply to, because it's not just the fact that it's like easy to apply; it's the fact that it's still relevant in a very, very clear, like obvious way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's that kind of
universal message.
Yeah. Like it's not like this isn't a leftist or like a right wing film. It's just like a very clearly like this actually kind of predicted a few things.
Yeah,
and it has there is a bit of a weird overpopulation kind of message, but. We'll forget about that.
Yeah, it's eugenics.
That's for the right wing. The right wing people can take what they want from that, but like it's all.
It's capitalism, bro.
It's capitalism, man.
It's always
they're eating the people.
It's people.
It's people.
Oh god, would you eat human?
Absolutely not. No, bad out.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't. As a vegetarian, anyway.
Yeah. Because they eat people. Anyone who dies, which doesn't make any sense. Because then they go bad very quick.
Mm-hmm.
But they eat prisoners and stuff as well. That's a big plot point. They eat the incarcerated.
Mm.
It's another score on our team.
Yeah, that is, yeah. It's definitely a lefty film.
Oh yeah, Charlton Heston, well-known union man.
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's always quoting Marx in his life.
Yeah. The Anthony and Planet of the Apes. But yeah, it's good. Classic sci-fi.
Yeah, I like classic, especially. Sorry, excuse me. I like those kind of classic sci-fi films. Like the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. 70s as well is also a good point to it. Like 70s sci-fi horror, that kind of genre. Always interesting at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That in between period.
Yeah, that weird period. Vietnam, like the fucking. Like, I was watching that documentary about folk horror, and they were just talking about the influence that Vietnam would have even had on, like, the folk horror genre and stuff like that. It's just...
They do?
Yeah, just, like, talking about, like, ideas of, like, nation and stuff like that come into it. It really was this, like... I guess because it is Vietnam is, like, a schism, I guess. Am I pronouncing that word right? Schism?
Yeah.
Between like youth culture and like their elders and stuff like that.
Innocence and experience.
Yeah, because like the people that would have been, like people in their 40s and stuff like that would have been alive during the World War II, where the lines of good and evil are very clear,
black and white. Yeah.
But then you get to Vietnam, it's like there's a bit more of a gray area.
It's
maybe
like we're clearly in the wrong.
And maybe we're in the wrong. we can be grey, or we're actually the bad guys here.
Yeah, we're just clearly the bad guys, guys.
Yeah,
but
it sounds good though.
It is.
I have to give it a go.
If it's on, give it a watch.
Yeah, I'll tell you a film that you have to give a watch.
What?
Tag. It's a film by Sion Sono, who we've talked about a few times. He did Love Exposure, he did Anti-Porno, and he did Prisoners of the Ghostland. I actually regret not giving Sion Sono as my answer for what directors are hit and miss, because Sion Sono is... I've watched like 4 of his films. 2 of them are bangers, and the other 2 were boring or kind of shit. Tag, thankfully, is a banger. It's a really, really good film. It's 85 minutes.
Oh, sign me up. I'm already listening.
Which is good. It's actually 80 minutes because it's 5 minutes of credits.
Ooh.
So 80 minutes long. And is a... what's that fucking... grindhouse mixed with art house kind of hodgepodge going on. Lots of different ideas going on in this film. It is about this character, Mi Kyoto, I think is how you pronounce her name, something like that. And it starts off with her on this bus, the school bus, and she's on her way on a school trip or whatever. On this way to the school trip or whatever. And she's there writing in her diary. And all the girls around her are laughing. They're having fun. They start having pillow fights and stuff like that on the bus. And the teacher's up the front talking to the bus driver, and they're like, "Oh, it's such a lovely day. Like the sun is shining. Everyone's laughing. Everyone's having a great time. Good vibes." And there's a bus in front of them, and then they're in the second bus in the line. And the bus in front of them, suddenly, the half of the bus is sliced in half, and you can see that the girls on the bus have also been sliced in half and come flying towards the bus. And Mikota, I remember her name, has dropped her pen while she is writing her diary, and she's bent down to pick up the pen, and then their bus is sliced in half, and Mikota stands up, and everyone around her is dead. Everyone has been sliced in half, and like it shows that they're
why
they're sliced. Just the wind sliced them in half.
What?
This is where the Sion Sono uses a lot of surrealism.
Oh, okay.
So just the wind sliced them in half, and she gets out of the bus, and for about 10 minutes now, she's been 10 minutes from this point, she is chased by the wind, and it keeps slicing people in half and stuff like that. Then she finds this girl. She's covered in blood at this stage, obviously, and she picks up this dead girl's uniform and puts it on and walks out this field, and then comes across all these other girls that are walking to school, and then her friends, whatever, show up to her and start talking to her, and she's all fucked up, and they're oh, you must have amnesia or something like that. And they start talking about faith, destiny, and do you have free will? Are things preordained? All this type of stuff. All these grand concepts and stuff like that. There's a fucking really weird bit where her and her friends run off to a lake, and one of her friends is talking about the idea of things being preordained and stuff like that, and she picks up a feather, and she's she drops the feather, and she's wherever that feather lands was determined. That's us. We don't really we have any free will? Kyoto starts talking about how this dream that she had, which is the sequence that we just saw. It's I had this dream, and her friend is oh, but what if that's not a dream? What if you slipped into another dimension and you're in a different reality right now? And that's what's after happening to you. That could happen. There's a possibility that could have happened to you. There's infinite possibilities and all this type of stuff that she starts talking about. And then her friend, she goes over to the water and she chucks a rock in, and she's just that ripple could have had an effect. And her friend's what the fuck are you talking about? It's come over and look at the ripple. And then a crocodile comes out and just eats her mate. And then it just cuts and it's see, that was a possibility that could have happened.
Oh.
So, and then all of a sudden there's a bed, not a bed, but a blanket with two pillows on the ground. And pillows is a recurring motif in the film. And feathers dropping and stuff like that is a constant motif throughout the film, which it doesn't towards the end of the film it kind of more or less explains what it's going for, but you can kind of view that in a
different way.
In a different way. For a lot of the film, you can just read it as she's having a dream, and she's having a nightmare with these dream elements, and there's all this different stuff going on in the film, whatever. Anyway, she comes back to school, whatever, and there's a pillow on the ground again, and she picks up the pillow, and then she throws at her mate, and then the teacher shoots every single student, and the teacher's going on a rampage, murdering all the students. And then Miyakoto runs into the local village, whatever. And it was at this point in the film that I noticed there hasn't been a single male character in the film. It's all been women. And when she runs into the village, it's all women again. There's no men in this film.
Why?
Because Sion Sono's films, I feel, are not very clear on exactly what they're talking about. But this film deals with art and basically deals with women's roles in art, in society, in whatever. I kind of everything's kind of more or less up for interpretation, but a lot of it is schoolgirls. So I imagine in my head, the way that I read this film is the film is talking about how, and the fact that all the teachers start killing all the girls and stuff like that is about how girls are forced into certain roles. There's a bit later on where Miyakoto literally just changes into a different person, but it's still Miyakoto. She's called Ryuji, whatever the fuck her name is, and she is a different character now, but one of her friends shows up again who died earlier on in the film, shows up again and calls her Mia Kyoto. So like, you know that like it's still the same person, but like she's being forced into a different role. This time she's a bride and she's like, you're going up to get married now. And all the women around her are like forcing her in to get married to this person. There's a bit where all the women become really jealous of her. Which can be read into this like vaguely misogynistic take there, but like that's kind of Sono's thing, where it's like the women are all forcing her to, you know, fall into the gender role of getting married. It's also, backtrack a little bit. The friend that died is the Miyakoto and her. I think her name's like Ari or whatever her name is. They're very clearly lesbians.
Yeah.
Like they're gay. And so she's being forced to marry to someone that she doesn't know. And when the guy's revealed, it's a groom or whatever, but he has a pig's head.
Yeah.
So like
it's surrealism.
It's all surrealism, but like you can read it. The film deals with like women's roles in art in general, because the film at a certain point breaks down, and her friend's like, you're a fictional character, you're not real. There's another bit where like at the very end of the film, it's revealed that like this might like spoil it, but like no one's really gonna watch this film, so I don't really care. Like this guy is it turns out that like she's like a video game character, and like her life has just been for men's enjoyment and stuff like that. The fact that like it's excessively violent, and anyone that dies in the film, they're all girls. It's like commentating on like what I was saying about like I Saw the Devil, and how like women's bodies are like either used for sex or violence. It's like a similar thing here, but it's a commentary on that and like how that's wrong.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking weird movie. It's a really weird movie. Like Sono has such a weird fucking style. He almost commentates on like his own, because apparently I haven't seen enough of Sono's films, but judging by the letterbox posters of some of his other films, he's made some pretty pervy films in the past, and this seems like a commentary on that as well, where like the women are like the school, like the I don't have to use the term schoolgirls, which makes it, like, it is bad. It's all these schoolgirls that
what's
like
wrong with that?
like they like flash each other's like underwear and stuff like that, but it's never like excessive or like
it's a self-critique.
Like, oh god, I might delete this bit, but
No, I know what you mean.
It's like it's commentating on itself. It's not like
it's deliberately egregious or like excessive.
It's not like the bits in
Cheesy.
Love Exposure where it's like, oh, underwear panty shots, which that film is obviously talking about that. Like, Sono obviously made films that are pervy, and this is critiquing that. He's like taking the piss out of himself for doing that. But like, I think that the wind at the start's like slicing down all the girls and stuff. That was like the winds of change or time and stuff like that. Like literally cutting down these schoolgirls' like potential for like becoming whoever they want to be and being forced in the education system to like go into their roles. The two people that like Mikioto turns into is a bride or an athlete. So like, if you were like, Siona's like almost commentating on like Japanese culture, they'd be like, the only way that women can like, you know, succeed or whatever in this is either to become like a businesswoman or whatever, or a bride or like an athlete. Like that's the three roles that we've given them.
Three options,
in society. Like literally
Yeah.
choose your character, who's like what the guy playing the video game is doing later on. It's like all about like, and like the film's like about faith and destiny. Do you have any choice in the matter? Like, you know, that's all. It's all like commentary on capitalism and stuff like that. You know,
sounds like it's all there.
It is all there, and it's like 85 minutes, and it's like it's a weird fun movie at the same time.
Where'd
as well.
you watch it?
It's on Shudder.
Shudder.
Yeah, it's on Shudder now.
Shudder seems to have a lot of bangers. Like,
Shudder is such a strange
depending on
service.
the territory, I suppose. Yeah.
But this is on our one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Sono just is such a what a fucking weird director.
Yeah.
And all of his films are so different. Like,
you've seen what, 4 now?
I've seen 4.
How many does he have?
He has 65.
65.
He hasn't been a director for that long either. Like this.
How does he make them?
Tag, it came out in 2015. That was one of 5 films that he released that year.
He needs to chill out.
Yeah, and he made like Love Exposure is 4 hours long. Like,
yeah, how do you find the time for that?
Mad bastard.
How do you find the time?
But it's good, and it's real gay as well. Real gay. Yeah, really, really good film. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, happy days. I think I might have a look at that because surrealism, Japanese, surrealism, Japanese. Kind
Schoolgirls.
Of Japanese schoolgirls. Sign me up. Sign me up.
Right up my alley. Commentary on.
That's just exactly the film I like.
Yeah, surrealist Japanese schoolgirls.
Yeah. It's like House.
God, House is a good movie.
I still haven't seen that. I need to kick myself up the arse, you know. But I'll get that. I'll get there soon, you know.
Yeah, eventually.
But yeah, you want to go for a quick break?
We go for a break.
Go for a wee break. And we're back from the break. The second break, and we're back to answer a few questions from you, the listener.
Delicious, sweet questions.
Keep them coming. Our first
Papa ain't full yet.
Our first question is coming in from Rachel. She's asking, what is the most offensive film you have ever seen?
Okay. I think we were going to go about this 2 different ways.
There's 2 different ways you can interpret this question, I think. A film that is offensive in terms of, like, moral standards, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, we don't have a lot of morals. Well, you know what I mean? We're deviants here. Well, like, you know, there are certain films, like, you know, Texas Chainsaw would be considered offensive.
The Devils would have been considered offensive.
Yeah. But, like, you know, offensive maybe egregious, just out there for, like, no particular reason. There's no real reason to have it be so... You know what I mean?
But it is, you know.
And then there's offensive where it's just, you know, offensive to our...
Personally
offensive to us. So, what would you say? What would you go for?
Okay, so for the first one, like the first, like, you know, an actually, you know, offensive film, Cannibal Holocaust, I'm going to have to go out there and say.
Offensive, yeah.
Yeah, like I watched it and I was like, I feel dirty watching this because I'm pretty sure this is just like, I know it's a commentary on racism, but it's also just like one of the most racist films I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. That's just pure, like, kind of colonial mindset, yeah.
And it's just like, ooh, foreign people can be bad, woo. And then it's like, but maybe we're the real monsters. Like, you can't justify what you babysit through with that limp ass take at the end. Yeah, that was just, and it's like egregious, like violent, so much rape in the film as well. You know, just an unpleasant watch that I was like, this is probably the most offensive film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That and Hangover Part 2, because that thing is just one big, oh no, I had sex with a trans woman. That's like the main joke in that film.
Yeah, I don't even remember that film, I have to say.
Nobody remembers Part 2, but yeah.
You could say Part 3 is offensive as well. It's for being really bad.
Yeah, well, I never saw that one. That would probably be in my personal like offensive, because like that's just, why is that a film?
Yeah, I'd probably say not like in terms of a I don't know, offense factor.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like it goes out there, it tries to provoke you as a viewer. I think a lot of John Waters films fall into that.
Yeah,
Pink Flamingos is pretty offensive.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that would be one of the most offensive films I've ever seen.
In a different way, maybe I remember watching Crash, like the one about racism.
Oh my god, yes.
It being kind of even at the time, I was kind of like, I don't know if offended. It was kind of like I think did we watch it together?
I think we were watching Religion.
Yeah, we would have been like what 14ish. I remember like looking down on the film. It's like this is like 14 years old. And, like this is a
piece of shit.
This is just a piece of shit. It's so like condescending and like simplistic. Like its take on it, it just seemed to have it seemed to be presenting answers when it clearly didn't understand the question. You know, that kind of way.
That is such a good description to that. Presenting answers, but it didn't understand the question.
So that's definitely that's offensive in a way. You know? And then. More along the lines of Hangover and stuff. I'd say Transformers 2 like personally offended me.
Fucking hell, yes.
Like aesthetic sensibilities, but also like some of the jokes are just like, come on, come on, you know. The
2 Mexican Mini Coopers,
the Mexican cars, and the balls hanging down. It's like that's just gross out humor, but it's still offensive, you know.
Yeah. I actually maybe Jackass and stuff like that as well. We were talking about them earlier, but like Jesus.
Freddy Got Fingered. You've seen that, haven't you?
Yeah. That's just a weird fucking movie. I might watch it again this year, but that's just a weird movie. That's such a fucking strange fucking film. But yeah, like like you know the one where the guy it's like a train set going around the place, and then the guy just has like massive diarrhea and jackass, and he just like shits everywhere.
Diarrhea. Yeah, actually,
the worst thing I have ever seen.
Yeah, jackass really is like purposely. Like that's the point, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, in the same way as the John Waters film would be offensive, you know.
Yeah.
It's just trying to piss you off.
Yeah, like I'm not like religious at all, but that church scene in Multiple Maniacs.
Yeah, it's like this is kind of wrong. Isn't
I feel so dirty. Like I love that film, but Jesus, I feel dirty.
Yeah.
What films were like personally offensive to you?
Personally offensive? Well,
Yeah.
well, stuff like Transformers 2.
Yeah.
Like that, I would find that. Just on an aesthetic level, like I can't think of many films that were like where I would like leave the cinema and be like, this is just not up to my, moral code or whatever. I don't think I've ever done that or ever thought that.
I think
But I've never watched the film that deliberately
Halloween, The Curse. No way. The fifth one. What was the one called?
I don't know.
The fifth Halloween film was personally offensive. It was like, oh, my series, my beloved series.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Oh, you motherfuckers! What? Look what you did to my boy!
Look how they massacred my boy.
You killed my boy. Like those films. Is there any like sequels or something like that, like of a beloved franchise that you love? That's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Texas Chainsaw, a few of them.
Yeah, there's like a lot of that
series.
series.
Yeah, it's just like what?
What is this?
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think so. No. You know.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think of.
Actually, no. Simpsons. They offend me. They actually seriously offend me these days.
And they are offensive as well.
Yeah. They really annoy me.
That's a good.
They annoy
show.
me. They annoy me more than they should. I let them get to me, you know.
Well, they are offensive because you absolutely have like destroyed this thing that I absolutely love.
Yeah, they're desecrating the corpse.
Yeah, you're just shitting on the corpse that's been long dead.
Yeah. Like, have a bit of respect.
Yeah, come on. Like, can you not? Can you not?
Can you please not? Can you just not actually?
I'm trying to think of other ones that were like personally offensive, like offensively bad films. Epic movie, disaster movie.
Yeah, that's what I originally.
Fuck me. And those films are offensive as well, like in the other term as well.
Yeah, they're the perfect synthesis of the two. Yeah.
You know what? Borat. I was personally offended because I was like, you motherfucker, you talked down to me to make me think it was something else when it wasn't.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, because it has like the double whammy of like the film itself is kind of. Oh, it is. It's just like it has a lot of racist stereotypes and stuff. A lot of like just flat out racist jokes. Like there's no critique beyond what he's actually just saying, or like the accent he's putting on. And then there's the fact he tried to sell it as like a social commentary.
Yeah.
When it's clearly like threadbare at best, you know. Like that's offensive, artistically and morally, you know. Yeah.
It's like that thing where when you were talking about Impractical Jokers, where like, oh, the joke will go too far, but then they'd stop and like the joke will come back on them.
Yeah.
But the joke that's landing back on like Sacha Baron Cohen is that he is a racist stereotype.
Yeah, like that's the joke is he's a Kazakhstan, you know, he's an idiot and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's just like, oh,
what?
Jesus.
Come on, mate.
And you try to sell off with something else. You cheeky bastard. You cheeky bastard. I don't like that. I like when films talk down to me, or like when someone tries to sell me something but it's not. You know, I find that like
that's repugnant.
It's repugnant. It's like, you fucking wasted my time. You absolutely wasted my time.
Yeah, absolute charlatans.
Well, talk about feelings, Mark. Coming on to our next question, which is coming in from Neil, and Neil's asking us, what's the worst feeling to have after a film?
The worst? Are we just thinking cinema, or are we just thinking generally? Or are those two different ways of approaching the question?
We'll go for when you after you switch off Netflix or whatever, and both terms, like the cinema and the just when you knock off a film.
I think in the cinema has a whole different vibe, you know. I feel like every time I go to the cinema and I come out, like unless the film was really bad, I'll still feel alright about it, you know. And then it's kind of the atmosphere of the cinema has like leaves that base of vibes, and then if the film is good or not, it depends, you know.
Yeah.
And the cinema, I think it has to be the worst feeling you can have is when it's bad, you know. When it's like
you wasted your time and money.
Yeah, when it feels like you've wasted your time. That's exactly it. Where like maybe it's worse when it builds up to something, or you feel like there's something there and it doesn't work. Like maybe like Interstellar or Arrival or something like that. I didn't see Arrival in cinemas, but that's how I would have felt anyway.
Yeah.
And then with Netflix, it's definitely a film. It just doesn't. It just leaves you like, I've just like it's not even I've wasted my time. It's like I could have done something else.
Yeah, I could. I could have done something else.
It's like that was just a black hole in my day, you know.
Yeah, films that like if I'm watching Netflix or something, I think the worst feeling is having no feeling at all. Like no negative, just like literally that was like I could have done something else. Like at least if I watched something like bad, I would have had an emotional response.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sense of like I wasted my time watching that.
Uh-huh.
In terms of cinema, because obviously, you know, the whole thing, there's more time being put into going to see the film, coming home, more money being spent on the film. I think the worst feeling is when you walk out and you're like, did I hate that?
Yeah.
And you're just like, I think like that feeling of like, I'm not sure if I hated that.
Yeah.
The uncertainty.
The uncertainty, yeah. Yeah, I suppose it is kind of a killer as well when the film's like maybe it's on the edge of being something really good, and then it's just kind of not,
like a disappointment, kind of. I don't even mind being disappointed most of the time, but like just that.
But something like maybe those Oscar films that you go see, you know, I can't think of many that I've gone to see recently, but like where like there is, you know what you're gonna get, and then you just get it, and it's like.
Yeah,
it's almost
I didn't have to watch the film because I knew exactly what I was going to get. Yeah.
Which is a perfect consumer experience, but like, it's not really what you want.
I don't want that feeling when I'm going to, you know, experience art. I don't want to be like, yeah, that was exactly what I want, what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I want, you know, something.
Definitely.
Having your expectations met in the worst possible way. Yeah. Disappointment. I would rather walk out of the cinema fucking furious of watching a film than like having nothing to say about the film. Like West Side Story. Enjoyed the film, but like overall, it's just like it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Like my emotional response, my reaction to the film was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So it's like, did I enjoy it? Yeah. Am I going to remember it? No. Did I waste my time? Well, no. Thankfully, I went to go see in the Stella, so that was cool. That was a whole experience. I enjoyed that side of it. But like, if I went to go see that in a different cinema, I'm like, yeah, just kind of wasting my time.
Yeah, that's the conundrum, you know. That's the thing. That's the difference the cinema makes.
It does. There is a big difference in the cinema, because at least like, I don't know. I never feel like I wasted my time going to the cinema because, you know, you did something with your day. But if you watch actually, no, that's a complete lie. Saying that, I was like, no, I'd actually rather stay at home if I was going to have no response to a film. Yeah. Is there any films that you walked into the cinema and you had absolutely no response to?
I can't think of any.
I can't think of any.
No response to. Yeah.
Because like I prefer like going into an MCU film, like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was, which is, I don't really mind with the MCU films because like they're still like fun sludge.
Maybe Pet Sematary, the remake.
Oh yeah.
Because that's kind of like, that's a bit specific. It's quite niche because no one really saw that. But
yeah.
That was the problem. The film was like very. It was. In one way, I was like kind of mad at the film because it wasn't as good as the original. But as a standalone film, it was just like very, very like
fine.
Like if I watched it on Netflix, I wouldn't have had any reaction whatsoever. Like I would have been like, that was kind of a waste of my time. Yeah. Which is, you know, that's not good.
I think as well, I really feel that when we're with the podcast, because obviously like I'm watching things so that we can talk about it on the podcast, and after I finish a film and I have nothing to say, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, actually that has that, yeah. That's happened a few times.
Yeah,
actually.
like just, I have nothing to say about this fucking movie.
Yeah, Mother.
I
didn't know what to say after
that. Same as well. I was like, yeah, that was a good movie, but like,
that's the thing. Like,
I don't have anything to say.
That was like the better end of the spectrum, whereas like it was something that I could appreciate as a good movie, but I just didn't have any thoughts on it at all.
Yeah, it's just, there isn't.
I think we talked about that for 5 minutes and we just like agreed that we had nothing to say.
Yeah, we literally did. It was like, I think we were literally, as we were talking, I was like, I have actually nothing to say about the film. And it's like, it's a long film. It's like over 2 hours long. It's Bonjour Ho, like, it's a good film. But I just have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you always want to have a response to a film. I think Worst reaction to have is just nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
You want to have a take.
You need a take for,
Yeah,
for the
you need
for
a
the likes.
takeaway, like
For the clout,
for the clout.
you know.
Well, we leave it at that.
We'll leave it there till next week
We'll
for
tuck
their
back into bed now.
episode 73. We're going to be reviewing F for Fake by Orson Welles, which is a film that I've been very eager to watch.
Hopefully, we have a response to that.
Oh, I'm sure we will. You know, very eager to watch that film since I discovered that it was a thing last week, and that'll be good.
That will be good. That'll be a good film. It's a documentary. I think that's the first time we've ever talked about a documentary, for a recommended film.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it is. So, new territory. Also, haven't really talked about Orson Welles.
Yeah.
So we can talk about how much of a mad fucker he was.
A lot of ground to cover.
All right. See you all. Good night. God bless.
Bye.